Am I audible and visible to every one of you? Yes, please let me know. Am I audible and visible to everyone? Okay. So today's class we'll be discussing about the pre-scene that is being uploaded by the ACCA in regard with the December 2024 attempt. In this pre-scene, we are just going to have a thorough insight of how the pre-scene will be tested and what are the possible areas of this pre-scene to be tested in the real exam. So we'll just be looking at the points where we'll be looking into how this pre-scene will be doing a wonder in your real examination. How are you going to use this pre-scene? And what are the factors that you need to keep into consideration while you are using this pre-scene? Always remember one thing, that this pre-scene will be available on the exam day. However, all those students who are going to go through the pre-scene again and again in the examination, or if you start reading the pre-scene in the exam and then start solving the question, it is quite possible that you will not be ending up doing all the requirements. So my suggestion is that you should read this pre-scene at least 5 to 6 times and the pre-scene analysis at least 1 to 2 times before going into your examination. You should know some of the important figures, you should know some of the important points, and you should know some of the important areas that are already being identified in this pre-scene material being uploaded by the ACCA. Now, there are two different things that are being uploaded by ACCA. Number one is the pre-scene that is used in your real examination. And the second thing is the mock exam that the ACCA have uploaded, the mock exam that the ACCA have uploaded, and we are going to solve the mock exam right after doing this pre-scene. So after this pre-scene, we'll be in the next class, we'll be looking at the mock exam that is being uploaded by ACCA. However, in today's session of next 2 hours, we will be dealing with the pre-scene, how the pre-scene will be used, what important information is being provided in this pre-scene, and what information will be useful for me when I'm going into my examination. One of the most important advice that I've already given it to you, I'm giving it once again. Please make sure that you read pre-scene at least 4 to 5 times before going into your examination. And it is very easy to read this pre-scene before going into your exam for at least 4 to 5 times, because it is just a matter of 1 hour in order to read this pre-scene thoroughly. So if you are done with reading the pre-scene with me, then you will be doing it more quickly as compared to the first time reading this pre-scene. So let's just quickly enter into the how the pre-scene will work. And this pre-scene is already being uploaded on your ACCA portal. If you do not have this pre-scene, it is going to be the same for all students. For all students around the world, the pre-scene is going to be the same. It is not going to change. However, the requirement and the exhibits can change in the exam. So this means that if one of my friend is sitting besides me, they may get 2 different requirements. They may get 3 different requirements as compared to the person who is, let's suppose, as compared to the paper that I have received. So you need to make sure that you go through all sorts of requirement very thoroughly, because there is a possibility that your task requirement and your there is a possibility that your task requirement and your exhibits may differ from the exhibits or the task requirement that is being given to your friend that is who is sitting beside you. Remember, they can change the task requirement. Number one, they can change the exhibits as well. However, the pre-scene is going to be the same. So we are going to drill down into how this pre-scene work. We are going to look into all detail insight. This is not just the first class. I'll also be providing you a proper analysis on the pre-scene material so that you can have a clarity of how this pre-scene will be working. So let's see. Now this pre-scene relates to, okay, so before starting or before getting into this pre-scene, is there any question of any student who is right now listening to me, or any question that you would want me to answer before getting into this pre-scene, or if there is any myth or any specific thing that you are not clear up till right now, so you can ask me. and I'll be answering your question. I'm giving you 1 minute. Just ask me any question that you think should be answered before anything. Sir, will you discuss the pre-scene analysis? Yes, obviously I will be discussing the pre-scene analysis, but before getting into the analysis, we need to read the pre-scene. So today's class, we'll be reading the pre-scene, but however, I'll be needing 1 or 2 days in order to make that pre-scene analysis. Once I'm done with that analysis, then I'll be reading that pre-scene analysis as well. Any other question? Any other question? Okay, I guess no more question. Let's just quickly get into the pre-scene. Okay, so this pre-scene is important for the December 2024 attempt. Same will be provided to you in the real examination. Sir, I have ready and realized that IR question is okay. So we'll be predicting. In the exam, we need to pick points from the pre-scene or just the exhibit. We need to pick points from the pre-scene. We need to pick points from the exhibits as well. But your major concentration should be on the exhibit rather than on the pre-scene. Then would be better if you can add the light in the IR. Yes, I'll be going through the IR. I'll be giving you a detailed analysis. Don't worry. So organization is a partnership. So does corporate governance apply? No. But however, they can ask you that the organization momentum is increasing and they are trying to formulate a company and they are trying to convert their partnership into a company, into a corporate sector. So this can be a question. So if the information in the exhibits are insufficient, so should we use our own assumption to refer to the pre-scene? No, you are going to refer to the pre-scene, but I don't think so that you will be ending up in finding a question that have less amount of information. I don't think so that is going to happen because, you know, since September 2018, I have never ever seen a question which says that we have provided less amount of information. They normally provide you more than 100% information so that you can formulate at least 100% of your answer. So don't worry about the information. Yes, the information is going to have a linkage. See, you do not have to write the answers for the pre-scene. You have to create a linkage to the pre-scene. For example, in the pre-scene, they have provided you the information about the economy or the industry. So you have to provide a linkage between the pre-scene that as I know that the company is working in a developing economy. So this is going to create a linkage. This is going to create a synchronization effect of the pre-scene in your answer. So it's just going to, you know, you have to connect the dots so that you can identify a well-written answer. Okay, so moving forward, it says that the strategic business leadership pre-scene information, it relates to the December 2024 attempt. Again, there is a mock exam as well. We'll be looking into that mock later on. Now, normally in every pre-scene that we have seen up till now, in every single pre-scene that we have seen up till now, normally they provide us with an introduction. And you know it well that you have solved the pre-scene questions. So the introduction part is also given in the exhibits. So they normally provide you with an introduction. It is going to be a 1-page introduction normally. Then they provide you about the Harland event management industry. So we have a very, very clear part given in this exam, given in this contents. That is, this is an industry which is an event management industry. So they are going to manage the events within the industry. Now they have given us the information about the overview. That is the overview of this industry. The event management in Harland, the collaboration and cooperation. Now this is going to be something important because, you know, they're talking about the collaboration, they're talking about the cooperation. So how this is going to work, we'll look into it. Industry related risk. Whenever I see this question, my mind clicks over here that if he is giving me some industry related risk, there might be a possibility that the question may ask you to perform the impact and, sorry for my writing, to perform the impact and mitigation factor. Of this risk. So they have given some risk. Now there can be 2 different type of questions being asked in this specific area. Either they can ask you to perform to identify the impact and the mitigating factor, or they may ask you to identify from the exhibits any other type of risk. They may ask you to identify any further type of risk. Please be very vigilant. Normally, if the risk is given in the pre-scene and the examiner says that you have to use the risk given in the pre-scene, then you are going to open the pre-scene material. You're going to open the pre-scene part. You will be, you know that what risks are being already given to me. You are going to identify, or you're going to take that heading from the pre-scene of that related risk, and then you are going to create an impact and mitigating factors. So please make sure that the risks are very well known. Many students once made a mistake that the examiner said that the risks that are already being given in the pre-scene, use those risks and identify the impact and likelihood or the mitigating factor of those risks. In a particular exam, a pre-scene related exam, the examiner said that we have already identified the risk, identify the impact and the mitigating factor. And 2 to 3% of the students, what they did is that they tried finding out their own risk and then creating an impact and applying a mitigating factor. So they were awarded 0 marks because they did not carefully understand the requirement of the questions. So please make sure that you read the question carefully. If the examiner says, apart from the risk identified in the pre-scene, identify for any further risk, its impact and the mitigating factors. So you're going to identify the risk and you're going to identify the impact and you're going to identify the mitigating factor. But if the examiner says that the pre-scene that is already being given to you and the risk given in the pre-scene, he's not going to use the pre-scene word. He's going to use that the risks that are already being identified. Using those risks, identify the impact and its mitigating factor. So please use the heading that is already been given in the pre-scene or in the exhibits. You need to be very much vigilant when you're reading this type of requirement. Then technological innovation, again, sir, as the risks are there, so I'm going to get into your question. Just wait. Now it says the technological innovation. So something may be related to the big data analysis, to the Internet of Things, to technological disruptions, to the investment models, any other model that relate to the technological increments. Then event management industry key performance indicator. Whenever I talk about the key performance indicator, you need to click into your mind that there is another word which is known as the CSF, that is critical success factors. So key performance indicators are dependent upon the critical success factors. So these are, for example, for an airline company, the critical success factors are going to be the safety, timelines, and comfort. And the key performance indicators will be the numbers that the airline company have achieved till now. So you need to take into consideration the critical success factor. Now, there may be a question that using the critical success factor, identify any other factor that you think is going to contribute to the company's success. Or there may be another possibility of asking a question that the critical success factors are already being identified. These are considered to be the primary sources of success for the company. What could have been the secondary sources of success for the company? So if the critical success factor says that the customer satisfaction is the primary source, the customer inclination is the primary source, so secondary source might be marketing. So we are going to look into what critical success factors or KPIs are already being given. Then industry body. By industry body, we'll see that what does he try to mean. Then roadmap event overview. So your company, the company that you're going to deal with right now, and the company that you're going to deal till the end of this session and in your examination is known as the roadmap company. It says that I'm going to provide you a background of this company. I'll be providing you the organization structure of this company. I'll be providing you how the operations of the company will work, information system, extracts from the roadmap website, roadmap risk register. And you know, we have studied the risk register yesterday. In our yesterday's class, the live class, I've gone through the risk register. So you are very much clear about what risk register actually should mean. Then the performance of the company as well. So let's just quickly get into what the industry have to tell us all about. It says, now I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the information given over here, and I'm going to make some pointers for me as well. Why am I making these pointers? So that I can get at the end of the day, at the end of this session, I'll be sharing this handout of the pointers. So once you are reading this pre-scene, you should have some pointers. Okay, now this is something that was highlighted by sir. This is something that is already being known. This is something which is a very important information. See, every information that relates to financial impact, or any financial number, or any industrial number, or any performance related numbers are very important to be highlighted and to be remembered till the day of exam. I'm repeating once again. Any number that relates to the financial statement, any number that relates to an anomaly within the financial statement, any number that shows something that in your industry is unique, any number that relates to the company or the industry performance indications is going to be a number that you need to remember and you need to take along with yourself till the day of your exam. See, now, what is the major reason of reading this pre-scene again and again is because, you can't open this pre-scene every time in your exam. In fact, I would say that you can't spend even 3 to 4 minutes reading this pre-scene in your paper, because you won't be having time to read this pre-scene in your exam. You just have 25 minutes to read your exhibits, and then remaining 3 hours to start working on writing the exam. Many students, they states that, okay, sir, what happened normally is that we invest more time on reading the examination, and then we end up leaving at least one part of the last question. That I was very much confident in doing that one part, or in doing that last part. I could have achieved at least 70 to 80% marks in that last part, but because of the time constraint, I was not able to do. So you have to be very much planned in your examination. Please make sure that once you are going into your examination, you should keep this in mind, that you will not be opening pre-scene in your examination, because every pre-scene information before going into your exam. Every sort of pre-scene information before going into your exam. Because if you're not reading this at least 4 to 5 times, you will not be able to remember any information before going into your exam. See, the biggest failure reason that the examiner says is that the people are not reading the pre-scene before going into the exam, and they are reading it over there, and then wasting the time in reading the pre-scene, then reading the exhibit, and then start doing the question. Such a lot of information being read before attempting the examination or attempting the real exam. You will have just 1 hour or 1 hour 15 minutes to attempt the paper. So this means that you are ending up getting into a disastrous failure. So please, pre-scene is something that is to be done before you enter your exam. Once you enter your exam, on the left side of your computer screen, there will be a tab saying that this is the pre-scene. You will only be opening this pre-scene in order to copy any information that you would want to write in your answer. And that too, you will be very much clear that on page number 3, this specific information is given, and I just need to copy this and write it over here, because I'm going to explain this information further. That is the only thing that you will be using your pre-scene for in your exam. And you should have a clear mind that, okay, this is an event management industry, and this is how the industry is going to work. Now I need to look at the exhibits, and now I need to just answer in accordance with the exhibits and the pre-scene information that I already have in my mind. See, let me tell you one more thing. When I was doing my chartered accountancy examination, there was a paper known as the financial accounting and reporting, and it was considered to be an open book exam. So what was the biggest hindrance in that exam? We used to take IFRS. Now the IFRS is this much thick, and there are lots and lots of standards in that IFRS. We were not allowed to have any sort of dividers or any sort of something that we can mark in order to open that specific IFRS. So one thing that I faced in my exam is that I was writing the definition of property, plant, and equipment under the question of IS 16. And it was a straightforward question. What do you understand by the word property, plant, and equipment? For 2 marks. I wasted 15 minutes of my time to identify where the hell this definition is being given in IFRS. And I was constantly running after pages and pages and pages just to identify. No, I didn't fail that exam. I didn't fail that exam because it was just 15 minutes. But the fact is that I felt that pressure, and I decided that let's suppose if I flunk this exam, I will not be taking IFRS anymore with me in the examination. So please make sure that once you have entered into the examination hall, now the pre-scene is something in your mind and not in front of you. I'm saying this with all trust and with all the experiences. You will not, please don't invest time in reading the pre-scene just to have a glance on the pre. Sir, I just wanted to have a glance on the pre-scene. So I opened page number 3 and I was curious to know what's written on page number 4. So I started reading page number 4. And you know what? I also wanted to read the page number 6 because over there are certain figures given and I was totally blank. I was not able to recall those figures. So I read page number 5 and I wasted 20 to 25 minutes of my time. See, you are going to be awarded on the marks on the basis of what you have written and not on the basis of what you have read. Not on the basis of, sir, I knew each and everything. Still, I flunked this examination because I didn't wrote each and everything. Completion is the key to success for SBL exam. That is the only key to success for the SBL examination. Your planning, your completion of the exam will make you pass this exam. Trust me. Moving forward, it says that we are going to have an introduction of this industry first. Let's see. Rodnim Events is an event management business based in the country of Ireland. Rodnim was established 6 years ago. So this is an important information. Why? It's not very old. It's a new emerging company. And remember, this is an event management company. So I can write it over here that it was established 6 years ago. I'll share the PDF with you as well. Don't worry. So it was established 6 years ago, which makes me feel that it's a new company. It's not an old company. It may be an emerging company, and we will be using this information in order to identify how this company is going to perform well. So it says that it was established 6 years ago. Very good. And specializes, very, very important information, specializes in managing the event for both corporate and private client. So now the examiner might give you an information about the bifurcation or division of the number of clients that you have in corporate clients and in private clients. That is the normal individual clients. He may give you a revenue stream as to how much amount of revenue are you earning from the corporate clients since last 5 years average or 1 year average, and how much amount of revenue are you earning from the private client. There may be a question of this company amalgamating with another company that specializes in the private clients. There may be a question that they are trying to dispose of the private client sector and just concentrate on the corporate client sector, or vice versa. So this information may be used in the examination in order to identify the question given in the exam or the exhibits given in the exam. So remember one thing, they specializes in 2 different industries. So there are basically 2 different industries in which the company is right now working. 2 industries. Number 1 is the corporate clients and number 2 is the private clients. Now, if you are given with further information of how the corporate clients work, how the private clients work, what are the fees that we charge on the corporate client, what are the fees that we are charging for the private clients, there may be some service divisions also given for the corporate clients. And for example, for the corporate clients, we normally charge for a big number of individuals or huge number of individuals. For the private client, we are normally charging for small number of individuals. Private clients that may be charged on the basis of per head cost. Corporate client may be charged on the basis of the hall or the capacity that the corporate is trying to get from us. So this is how the event management company is going to work. So we'll be looking into, sir, is there any sector of this? These are this information is specifically about the Roland. It's just an Rodnim. It's just an introduction. However, the industry information starts from here. So it says the 2 founders of Rodnim decided to set up a partnership business rather than a limited company. Now you need to remember that a partnership business basically works with the perspective of having the mutual consensus in making decision. ease and comfort in making decision. However, some sort of delay decision making, but the limited liability company, the decision making is going to be delayed a lot because we have non-executive director and executive director. And you know what? There may be a question in which the examiner says that this partnership company is now considering to move towards or incorporate itself into a limited liability company. Now, if it incorporates itself into a limited liability company, what could be the governance requirement that is now applicable on this company? That is, you need to have 4 different committees. You need to have the board of directors, executive directors, non-executive directors, and so on and so forth. The corporate governance requirement, the COSO framework requirement, the ethical requirement, the audit related requirement, the IFRS related requirement, and many other requirements are now going to be applicable. So there may be a question that you have to facilitate the partnership company to move smoothly towards the limited liability company, and what financial targets are going to be achieved, how the institutional investors will be attracted, how are we going to make it a public limited company, what do you understand by the word incorporated company. Now we are a single entity company as a partnership. Now we are moving towards a separate entity company as a limited liability company. I'm just making an educated guess just by reading this word. So right now they are working as a partnership company, but there may be a question in the examination that they want to move towards a limited liability company so that they could maintain the total control over the business. So partnership rather than a limited liability, because they want to have a, so their dynamics, their perspective is to have 100% control of the business and not to involve any outsider in management or in any outsider in getting or running the business. So it says, now this information that is right now starting from point number 2, this specific information is relating to the event management industry. It says, overview. Events are arranged to allow the people to interact with each other. So they are first defining what events actually mean so that you have a clear idea of what this industry is going to do. Now, remember, the pre-scene is going to provide you very basic information. They're not going to use the professional jargons, and they do not, ACCAs recommend that you do not have to do any sort of further research on this specific industry. They are saying that we will be giving you all information that you need in order to pass your exam. You do not need to have any further investigation, any further research and development to drill down into this the industry or to drill down into this company. You do not need to have any further sort of information apart from the information that is already given in the pre-scene exam. It says, normally for a planned and stated specified purposes, event vary in size. That is, larger event includes corporate conferences, music concerts, festivals, and sports events. So they have defined the domain of this industry. This industry is particularly involved in 4 different services. Yeah, I can say that this specific industry is particularly revolving around the 4 different services. That is the corporate conferences, music concerts, festivals, and sports events. This is when I'm talking about the larger events. So there may be a possibility that they may provide you in the exhibit the revenue stream, and they may have a division between larger events and smaller events. And they may say that the company operates in these 3 areas of the larger event and in these 2 areas of the smaller events. So you need to make sure that how these areas can be improved. This is the possibility of answering a question. It says, smaller event include wedding. Okay. Smaller event includes wedding and other parties for private individuals. So now I have a very clear idea. See, it's an event management industry. Event management industry. It revolves around 2 different customer segments, corporate clients and private clients. Corporate clients means larger events. Private clients means smaller events. For larger events, there are 4 different types of events. Number 1 is the corporate conferences. Number 2 is the music concert. Number 3 is the festivals and sports event. But for the private client, there are only two types of industry. Now, the second type can be, further divided into many types of events. Weddings, obviously, it cannot be a corporate event, and other parties for private. So this is how the industry is broken down. This is how the industry is broken down. Moving further, event management businesses specialize in arranging different types of event for their client. Event management businesses plans and organize events for the client and coordinate the delivery and management of the event itself. So what event management industry do is they plan, organize the event for the client and coordinate the delivery and management of this event itself. So they are going to coordinate the delivery. This means that right from the start of the event, that is the planning stage, up to the end of the event. I'm getting an intimation that they may ask you to make a project initiation document of a specific event. They may give you an exhibit that we have recently received one of the biggest project from a client, from a client, PQR PLC. Draft a project initiation document in which the information of project sponsor, project manager, project supervisors, project team, and every other information, cost benefit analysis, and every other information is there. So because it's an event management industry, they specializes in projects and not roles. Again, I'm saying because it's an event management industry, they specializes in project and not roles. Again, it says an event management business is responsible for ensuring all the aspects of the event run smoothly and that the event meets the objective of the client. Event management businesses charge a fee from the client for managing the events. Any revenue generated from the event itself is kept by the client. Any revenue generated from the event. So, okay, I got it. Sir, you know what? If I'm going to arrange a concert, let's suppose I'm charging 1 million for the concert. Now, I have arranged the concert. I have set the stage. I have set the entire function of the concert, the decoration, the chair arrangement or the people's arrangement, the bouncers, the safety, the security, walk through gates, each and everything. Now, whatever amount of earning is being received from that specific concert or the sale of the ticket of that specific concert will be kept by the client itself. This means that I'll only be getting the revenue as per the contract. Yeah, and obviously it's the services goes like this. For example, if I ask someone that okay, I'm going to arrange a training session in my economy, there's a training hall known as Berry Auditorium. So if I say that I'm going to arrange a training session in Berry Auditorium, so the Berry Auditorium is going to ask me for a fee. For example, they may say that you have to pay 100,000 for the training session of 2 days. Okay, so I'll be paying them 100,000 and I'll be charging a fee from you. Let's suppose if I have received 200,000 as the training fee from the participants, so all 200,000 will be kept by me. So it means that they are not doing a partnership with the client. They're just providing a services, and this the client may ask for the amount of money for their services that they are offering. So it's very obvious that event management business charge a fee from the client for managing the event. However, any revenue that is generated during that event will be kept by the client itself. Usually for larger event management businesses are asked by the client to tender. Now, what's a tender? Can anyone explain me? What do you understand by the word tender? Tender is an invitation for offer. Tender is an invitation for offer. Quotation, yes. Tender means that okay, I have to arrange a larger. Now, by looking at this specific line, I'm getting an intimation. Yes, it's a bid. I'm getting an intimation that they may ask you that we have recently quoted for one of the biggest event in the industry, and we are being asked to provide a tender. So help us in making a quotation for my client. Or we have created a quotation. Help us in improving this quotation by including the cost benefit analysis, by including or draft a report to the CEO of the company of what should be included in the quotation in terms of services, in terms of quality, in terms of client satisfaction, and in terms of after sales recognitions. Carry it. So okay, so there may be a question in which the examiner says that write a report to the CEO of the company in order to improve or in order to formulate a tender for a client. Now, if they are going to ask you in order to formulate or in order to improve the tender for the client, they will provide you a headings. That is headings in terms of quality. They may say that your report or your email should include the notification of how the quality should be maintained of that specific project, how the cost should be in line with the customer's satisfaction, how will you create value for money, and what are going to be the giveaways at the end of the project. So this is how they're going to ask you a question in regard with the big clients. Invited to tender to manage the event. In their tender submission, each event management business would explain how they would manage the event. Very important. So I got an idea. Okay, sir. It says that in tender submission, each event management business is going to explain how would they manage the event, the services that they would provide, and the fee that they are going to charge. Now, please let me know one thing. Let's suppose there's a question which says that we are going to provide a tender in relation to a concert, music concert event being done by Bilal PLC. A music concert event being done by Bilal PLC, and we are expecting a total number of participants in the or the a total number of customers in the concert as around 10,000 people. So provide us a quotation in regard with this specific event, and they have provided you other information of how they are going to charge the fee or what services are expected from that specific concert. They have already provided you 3 different headings. What you should include in your report whenever you are providing the tender. Now they are not going to explain those 3 headings in the question. They will not say, I just wrote a question that write a report to the CEO explaining the quality, quantity. Now you don't need to write that specific question. Just delete that question. Now the question is, whenever you are going to talk about the tender, every client will talk about 3 different headings. Whoever is providing us a tender, we are going to look at 3 different headings. Number 1, explain how they are going to manage the event. How they are going to manage in regard with security, in regard with quality associations, in regard with customer satisfactions, in regard with sound, in regard with SMDs, SMD is the screen, in regard with security, in regard with smooth transition of the people inside and outside the company, the services that they are going to provide. For example, during the concert, during the interval, we'll be providing food boxes. During the interval, we will be having cards, food cards, in which the customers can go over there, they can buy something, and they can come back, and we'll be resuming the concert after after 10 to 15 minutes. How security will be provided to the person who's going to sing in front of the people? How many persons, how many manned individuals will be there in order to provide the security, in order to provide the access of the customers, and how this entire process is going to be smoothly transited. Plus, fee should include accommodation and transportation to the single guest. Fee should include, now please make sure that you are listening very carefully. Fee should include the division of every services. That how you are going to charge for the stage, what amount are you going to be charging for the music systems, for the lighting, for security, for red carpeting, for customer, let's suppose, divergence, for food boxes, and so on and so forth. So your quotation should include a fee breakup there should be only 3 headings in your quotation. Number 1, explain how you're going to manage the event. Number 2, explain how you're going to provide those what services are you going to provide, food services, concept management services, and any other services, and explain what fee are you going to charge for these services. The tenders would then be considered. You have to read every single line very carefully with me. I'm reading it for the first time in front of you, so I'm trying to make sure. Yes, we will go for some assumptions, but please don't talk about the outsourcing right now unless we have seen the exhibit. The tenders would then be considered by the client, and the contract to manage the event would be awarded to the event management company with the tender which is most acceptable for the client. Obviously, the end result should be the same. In 20x3, revenue generated from events globally was estimated to be 1960 billion, not from my company, from the entire industry, with an estimated 11% growth for each to the next 5 years. This means it's a very promising industry. 11% annual growth means for the next 5 years, the growth target is going to reach to a 55% in comparison to base year, that is year 1. 11% every year growth means that 1960 billion to be multiplied by 155% after at the end of the 5th year. So if I compare it with the base year, that is the year 0, we have to go for 55% increment. That is the rough estimation being provided by this industry expert. Okay. Event management business charges between 35 to 40% of the event ticket sales. Okay. So event management business is going to charge between the 35 to 40% of the ticket sales in fee for managing the event, making it financially lucrative and very competitive industry. Corporate clients and similar private event are normally charged a fixed fee negotiated in advance. Okay, now I'm getting a clear idea. See, there are two types of clients. Number 1 client is my corporate client. So for corporate client, I charge 30%. This is an industry norm. 30% to 40% of the client ticket sale. Am I clear on this? 35 to 40% of my client ticket sale. 35 to 40% of my client ticket sale. Is it clear? And for the small private event, that is my private event part, I'm charging a fixed fee. Corporate and smaller clients event are normally charged a fixed fee negotiated in advance. Yes, for the corporate clients as well. So for big services or for larger services, we are charging 35 to 40% of the event ticket sales in order to make this as a lucrative arrangement. Lucrative means an attractive arrangement for the companies. Okay. So event management in Harlem. Harlem is a large, prosperous, and economically advanced company. It's something which is very important for us. It's a large, prosperous, economically advanced country which has an established and highly competitive event management industries. Okay, so it means that the industry competition is going to be fierce. It means that the industry competition is going to be at the optimum level because they have well-established and highly competitive event management industries. Now we need to figure out what competitive edge do the companies have, or how can you create a competitive edge when you are working in this industry? Is it going to be the pricing edge, or is it going to be the niche market quality oriented edge? Again, see, it's an economically advanced, it's a prosperous and a large company, a large economy. Now in this specific economy, there are very well-established event management businesses. Now, they have not given us the information if we have any foreign event management businesses operating in our economy or not. but we'll look into it further. So they're very well established. They're very well established and highly competitive event management companies working in this industry, working in this economy. Now, the fact is that when I say this, it means that in this industry, the pricing would be the decisive factor, number one, or the quality could have been an associated factor on which the tenders are accepted. Number one. Number two is that each and every industry is working very brutally into this specific event management industry. Why? Each and every company is working very brutally. Why? Because there are large number of well-established companies and they all are fighting to get their customers. So the competition is going to be very fierce. Now, by this, I need to identify if the competitive factors or the competitive advantages the company can achieve can be on the basis of price penetration strategies, or it may be on the basis of niche market quality oriented strategies. Let's see. There are wide variety of event management businesses in Harlem. Some only operate locally and other operate nationally throughout the Harlem. So this means that there are competition from the fact that we have some local that is within only one city, and we have some national that is the event management company that is operating in the entire country of Harlem. And some of the largest event management businesses have international reach as well. Okay, so this was the question that I was asking right now. Do we have international players? Yes, we have. Do we have international players in our industry, in this specific industry and in this specific company, economy? Yes. We have international players, we have local players, and we have national players. So our players are divided into three different parts: national players, local players, and international players. The Harlem event management market is dominated by four major companies, okay, who collectively have 74% of the total event management market share measured by fee income. So this means that we are measuring the market share by fee income. This means that the highest fee income earners, second highest fee income, third highest fee income, and the fourth highest fee income cumulatively hold 74%. Now, what do you understand by the fee income? This is the fee income. This is the revenue that is being generated by the global. So if I multiply 1960 by 74%, so I'll be identifying the revenue of the first four companies. If I multiply 74% of the total event management market share on the basis of fee income, this is the amount of fee, because they have stated that this is the total revenue that was globally earned. No, sorry, this is the global revenue. No. This is just a global revenue. So we need to identify the Harlem's revenue. And if we have identified the Harlem's revenue, we will be multiplying it by 74%. This is not the revenue that we'll be using. Okay. Then it says, the remainder of the market is shared between many small event management businesses. Now we need to know that these four people or these four companies, are they large enough to have some international presence as well? Or are they internationally recognized or rewarded companies? If yes, then our competition is going to be more and more in comparison to us. I don't know if we are an international player or not. Revenue generated by the events in Harlem in 20x3. Okay, so we have revenue. Sorry, I was taking the wrong figure. In 20x3, we have a total revenue of 108 billion. So if I multiply this by 74%, I will be reaching to the share conclusion of those. Okay. It's around 80, yes. 74% of 108 is around 80%, 80 billion. With event management business in Harlem earning around 39 billion fee from managing these events. Now, types of events. Now, this is something important. There may be a question as what other events can be included in our company profile. Revenue generated from the events in Harlem in 20x3 was 108, with event management businesses in Harlem earning around 39 billion fee from managing these events. 74%. Okay. Now, types of events. Event managed by the event management businesses in the Harlem generally fall into the following major categories. So these are the major categories. It says music concerts. These are live performances which take place in front of the audience. The size of the audience and the type of the music performed vary. So this means that maybe for folk music, there may be less number of people. For rap music or for rap concerts, there may be huge number, or maybe vice versa as well. Now, conferences. These are gatherings to discuss specific topics or set topics. For example, IFRS related conferences, for example, leadership related conferences that are normally done by the client. These can vary in size. Conferences are usually held in Harlem's major towns and cities. Okay, so this is something that is held in major towns and cities because majority of the big offices must be in the major towns and cities and not in the rural areas. Festivals. A festival is a gathering of the people to celebrate something. Eid festival, Christmas festival, Easter festival, and any other festivals. They are usually cultural or social events and are of varying size and duration. So it vary from the size and duration. For example, for Eid culture, we have 3 days. For Christmas culture, we have more than a week because it starts from the Easter and it ends up into the at the end of the New Year. Then sports events. These are games, matches, races, or similar competitive events. They can include any type of sports. There has been a substantial increase in the sports event in Harlem over the last 5 years. Okay, it's a catch for us. It's a catch for us because it says there have been substantial increase in the sports event in the last 5 years. Recently, one of the sports that have taken into the lives of the people is the pedal. It's a mini tennis. It's a mini tennis. It's a mini tennis that have incorporated into the life of the people. So there may be a possibility, or they may ask you that what other sports events can you encourage entering into your company's profiling. So you may say that we need to market the ever growing market of the pedal industry, and then ask people to have some pedal competition. We can also incorporate some competition locally, or we can ask the international players to enter into this market and give us the event management part. So, this is something which is going to create further revenues for the upcoming years. Maybe any sports event in upcoming years will give you a chance of having that event in your company's profile. Now, private event. These events celebrate a special occasion, for example, wedding with friends, families, such as wedding, birthday parties, etc. There has not been any significant growth in the number of private events over the last 5 years. So this is a declining industry. This is a declining service. However, this is an inclining service. Tell me one thing. Can the examiner ask you to apply the BCG model or the product diversification models? Yes. So there is a possibility. Now, if just based on this information, what private event should be classified? Should it be classified as dog? Should it be classified as cash cows? Should it be classified as stars? Or should it be classified as question mark? Just based on this information. If they give you further information, we'll change our analysis. I guess it should be classified as a cash cow. See, there is no increment, but this industry is still prevalent. It says that there is no substantial growth. However, this industry is still prevalent. And if we are earning good amount of share, let's suppose we are earning a good amount of share, we will classify it as a cash cow. Right now, I'm just taking an assumption. Just to have a questioning mindset that, okay, sir, we can apply this model. Is it clear? Okay. Virtual events, these are online events. Okay, so this is something new. I never knew that virtual events are also being organized by the event management company. It says these are online events which enables the attendees to attend an event over the internet rather than at one single physical location. They can be any type of event listed above. The virtual events are growing in popularity as they offer wide geographical reach and do not incur travel costs for the participants. Okay, so this means that this is also an inclining industry. So this may be a star industry, this may be a star industry, and this may be a cash cow industry. in accordance with the BCG model. Is it clear to everyone? See, I'm not giving my verdict on these industries. If you have been given with further information, you can change the analysis. Okay. A breakdown of the fee revenue generated by each event, each type of event in the Harlan's event management industry in 20x3 is illustrated in the pie chart. Music concerts, sports event, conferences, festivals, private events, virtual events. Now, there are two possibilities. Maybe the virtual events that is growing in number and the private events that are growing in number are not growing in margins. That is, it is a very low margin industry. Maybe that's a possibility. Because it says that, look at the industry breakup. It says that the breakdown of the fee income. So the fee income from the virtual industry and private event is only 6% and 5%. However, we have seen over here that the virtual events are growing in popularity and the private events are also growing. Sorry, not the private, and the sports event are also growing in popularity. Sports event. So it says that the sports event, it accounts for 12% and the virtual event accounts for 5%. So they're not very huge in numbers, because you can see the biggest number is from the music concert. The second biggest number is from the conferences. However, they have not identified in the table given above that these are performing well. But they have identified that this is a growing industry and this is a growing industry. So they may ask you as to what parameters or what factors should you take into consideration to get more and more clients of the sports industry or more and more clients of the virtual events. Right? Is it clear? So we may offer some discounts to the participants. We may offer some quality associations. We may offer some sponsorship. We may offer some this. We may offer some that. We'll talk about it when we have further information. Okay, so types of clients. We are being told with the help of types of services. Now we are being told that what types of clients do we have? We know it very well that we initially were told that there are two types of clients. Number one is the corporate client. Number two is the private client. But now it says that we have a public sector client as well. Okay, so corporate client. The Harlan event management industry is dominated by the corporate clients. So this is the highest in this event management industry, who are organizations which require management of the music concerts, conferences, festivals, sports, and increasingly virtual events. This has been the situation for many years and is not expected to change significantly in the future, which means that this growth is not going to go into declining situation. This growth is not going to decline. It is going to be the same for next forthcoming years. Private client. These are individuals whom employ event management businesses to manage the private event, such as wedding and parties. Public sector client. Apart from the corporate clients and private clients, a number of public sector organizations, which means government organizations, also hold events. Public sector events include government conferences discussing particularly policies, issues, major sports event, and national. So public sector normally include the policy issues, the major sports events, the national festivals, etc. Recently, the Harlan national government has engaged several event management businesses to run a series of virtual conferences as well. So virtual conferences are increasing in public sector and in other sectors as well. That is the corporate clients. It says all three types of clients in the Harlan are increasingly expecting event management businesses to provide creative and innovative ideas to ensure events are well managed and meet the specific requirement of the client. A professional level of services throughout the event management process is expected. So this is what the expectation from the company is. So if I call it as your company's objective, I'm not wrong. This is actually the company's object. Is it clear? Okay, moving forward. A breakdown of the fee income generated by each type of client in the Harlan event management industry in 20x3 is illustrated in the pie chart. Okay, the biggest number, that is 73% from the corporate client. Public sector is 23%. And trust me, this is the second time that they are telling me that the virtual conferences are increasing in both the two sectors that are most dominant, which actually accounts for 96% of the revenue. However, the private client are just 4%. And obviously, weddings can't be virtual, right? Collaboration and cooperation. Larger event management businesses operate completely independently. Collaboration and cooperation. Collaboration, sir, you know what? They may ask me for a merger or an acquisition. Sir, they may ask me to have the advantages of merging or disadvantages of merging or acquiring an event management company. So they may ask me to apply the model known as the SFA model. Suitability, feasibility, and acceptability. They may ask me to apply a model stating the financial and non-financial factors taken into consideration before going into merger, acquisition, strategic alliances, franchising, or any other arrangement. It says larger event management company operate completely independently. However, smaller businesses within the industry sometimes informally cooperate and collaborate with each other to strengthen their collective bargaining power. Okay, sir. You know what? When I think of bargaining power, so I mean 45 forces. Bargaining power of customer, bargaining power of buyers, threat of new entrant, competitive rivalry, and substitute products. And positions in the market. For instance, an event management business specializing in managing the sports event may refer their client with which plans to hold music concert event to another event management businesses specializing in managing this music concert. So this is how it works. For example, if there is a company A that got a client of sports event, and the sports event client person, that is Mr. B, wants to conduct a music event as well. So company A is going to refer to company B that they specialize in the music event. Do you get what I'm trying to explain? For example, for the smaller company, what they do is that, okay, we are specialists in the sports event and you want to arrange a music event, so I can refer you to Mr. B, who specializes in the music event. So this is how the smaller company collaborate with each other, and they work for the collaborative. In the industry norm, we call it as the consortium or cartel companies. In industry norm, we call it as cartel companies. To hold a music concert event and to another event management businesses specializing in managing the music concert, the referral would be reciprocated if the opportunity arises. So it is going to go like vice versa. If there's a sports event to be conducted, then they are going to refer it to Mr. A. More formal strategic alliances and joint venture agreements also exist in this sector. Okay, I'm getting an idea. They have given us an intimation that, sir, please let the student know we are going to test you, we are going to give you an information of a specific strategic alliance, or we are going to give you an information of a specific joint venture, and we will ask you to have a detailed evaluation as to we should involve, we should have an arrangement with another company in terms of the joint venture or in terms of the strategic alliances. And you know it very well that you should know the definition of what strategic alliances is and what joint venture is. Right? All event management companies, they buy the music arrangement from one specific company. They rent out the music arrangement. I'm just giving an example. All event management company, they have decided that they are going to rent out the music system only from one company, that is Sony. That is going to be a strategic alliance. And they are paying for the number of hours that the music system is going to be used. So they are paying a fee as and when the music system is going to be used. So are you going to enter into the strategic alliances, or two companies are joining hand together to have a joint venture for a third company? So it says that such ventures exist, but these tends to be between the complementary rather than competitive business. Okay, so maybe I'm joining hand as an event management company with a food business. Okay, so the event is going to be conducted for next 8 hours, and you are going to provide them food. It's like PIA, the airline company, joining hands together with the national food company to provide food on their airlines. And for every food box that they are going to provide, we will be providing them the amount of money. So it is going to be a joint venture. Clear hoti baat? Okay. This can include an event management business having exclusive access to the venues operated by the property manager. Okay. So there is a property in which only Bilal event planner company can conduct their events over here, and no other is allowed. So this is how it works, which means keeping the competitors' access at a denied stage and allowing only one company to operate their events in this specific property. Company or access to temporary and casual staff to manage the security at the event. Okay, so I've made a strategic alliance with the security staff. The last paragraph says that we are arranging a complementary services that goes hand in hand with each other. For example, the company is joining hand with the food manufacturing company or food supply company, and they say that, okay, whatever event we are going to conduct or whatever client we'll be having, we'll be only taking the food from Mr. B. We'll only be taking the food from Mr. B, and Mr. B need to provide us a tender which is of lower cost than the market. So this is what strategic alliances can be in this industry. Now, industry-related risk, very important, because they may ask you how to mitigate those risks. They may ask you what could be the possible impact of this specific risk. There are a number of key risk areas which most event management businesses in Harland are currently facing. Now, what are the risks? Key risks: worsening national economic condition. Now, see, okay, they have provided you the possible harmful impact as well. They have provided you the possible harmful impact. So the only thing that is left is mitigating factors. The only thing that is left is mitigating factors. So there may be a possibility. Just look at the number of risks. Just look at the number of risks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 risks, 4 impact, and 4 mitigating factors. So there may be a question in part A that may relate to 8 marks. Using the heading in the risk given in the pre-scene analysis, identify what are the factors that will help us in mitigating those risks. So, worsening national economic condition, high level of inflation within Harland. Okay, so this means that there is a high level of inflation going on. लेकिन अब वो further बता रहा है that अभी तक था, अब now it's moving towards an inflationary. Increasing interest rate. Obviously, whenever there is a high inflation, the government normally goes for the increase of the interest rate. Possible harmful impact: reduced demands for the event and higher cost of borrowing. So how could you reduce the impact, or how could you mitigate the impact? Just by looking at this information. Obviously, we'll be getting some more information, some more insight in the exhibits. But can you please let me know how could you mitigate these events? Virtual events. One more thing. Is economy ka batao. Think of it. I know one more idea. Deferred payments. Deferred payments. Payment plans. 6-month payment plans, 3-month payment plan. Whenever the inflation hit an economy, and now you need to make sure that the people are marketed in the way as they should not reduce the event, but they may pay us after 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, or they may have some deferred delayed payment. So this could be the possibility. 50% payment at the start and the remaining 50% government grants to, yes, government grants can also be a part. Deferred payments. Is it clear to everyone? Next, environmental issues. Reduction in predictability of weather pattern due to the climatic change. Increase awareness of environmental impact of events. Now, what could be the possible impacts? Reputational harm from negative environmental effect of the events. Yes. Well, how could you mitigate just on the basis of the information that we have right now? Can anyone help me? Cancelled and delayed event is also going to increase the environmental. Okay, so what could be the mitigating factor? Yes. Very good. Trainings on environmental issues and using some parameters to reduce the environmental impact by not, just giving an example, using paper glass. Let's suppose by not using paper glass in your event. I'm just giving an example. You can add any other example. Okay, legislation and regulation. Increase health and safety legislation. Increase data security and protection regulation. Stringent employees' right. Increase cost of compliances. What could be the impact? Fines and sanctions for breaches, and employment disruption and strike. Okay, mitigating factors. Help me out. Letting the employee know what are the rights, employee rights and duties. Stringent means strict. Okay, employee rights and duties are communicated well to the employee. Providing PPE and asking some donation-based organization to sponsor the environmental friendly company. Sorry, to sponsor the legislative companies, the companies that are following legislation, also involving the government as to praise the companies who are more following the laws and regulation, providing the PPE. PPE means personal protective equipment to the laborers, and also providing them training as how health and safety standards can help them in having an operation go smoothly well for the companies. Then we have the operational issues. It says increased risk of cybersecurity attacks. So I'm just I'm just getting an idea of a mitigating factor. Let me know. Firewalls, right? Then unauthorized selling of event tickets. Maybe adding a QR code or barcode that validates the authenticity of the ticket, right? Then advances in technology. Maybe hiring a technology innovation manager that looks after the technology, its innovation, and market statuses. Tech innovation manager and training. Is it clear? I'm just using the information given to me over here. See, the information may change in the exhibits. It may change to 360 degrees. They may provide you any further information. So you have to be very much vigilant. I'm just opening your mind in every prospects of the pre-scene and the possibilities of the exhibits and the question. Reputational harm of the client, possible litigation, revenue threat, system obsolescence. So you need to have a system manager, a tech innovative manager, a tech innovative trainings are being provided. You can incorporate a QR code, a barcode to validate the authenticity of the tickets that are being sold. You can have a firewall so that the cyber security attacks are reduced in numbers. Now, moving forward, it says technological innovations. There are several technological innovations relating to the event management which are directly impacting the industry within the heartland. These include now technological innovation. There may be a question. Write an email, write a press release. Sorry, write an email, write a report, write a briefing paper, write a memo to the CEO of the company. You are an external consultant. Write a report to the CEO of the company in which you help us as to how the technological innovation may be incorporated in the role and industry. That is my company. So you have to pick up all these 4 parts, and there may be a question relating to the presentation slide as well. They may say, using the presentation slide, briefly illustrate or analyze how artificial intelligence can be incorporated into event management industry. How navigating and mapping applications can be incorporated into event management industry. Using the presentation slide, identify how live streaming of event and live streaming of the services can help in creating more and more customers for the company. So this could have been a question that is being that may be asked in your real exam. Again, see, I didn't read the QR code, but just look at it. We have given the QR code as a mitigating factor. Is it clear? Okay, moving forward, this is going to be a very important class, plus the analysis class is going to be of the same importance, and then the mock exam is going to be of the same importance. So please make sure that from today onwards, you are very much concentrated into the classes, right? So it says there are several technological innovations relating to the event management, which are directly impacting the industry within the heartland. These include live streaming of event. Development in technology include the provision of the internet-enabled live streaming of the event, which is used when managing the virtual event. Now, what if I say to evaluate the live streaming event in positive and negative sense? Yes. The positive side of the live streaming event is that we are reaching masses. But the negative side is that you know it well that live streaming events are based on penetrative pricing, and we cannot charge high price from the live streaming event. So if an event that was first conducted physically is now being converted into a live streaming event, this may have an impact on our revenue as well. However, the positive part is that the total amount of customers are going to increase, the word of mouth will increase, and we are going to reach the masses. However, the overhead costs will also reduce substantially. Then artificial intelligence can be used by the event management businesses for interrogating and analyzing the data to identify the patterns and trends which are likely to become the features of the future events. This can help the event management business to gain and sustain competitive advantage. One of the biggest music concert is of Coldplay. This is one of the biggest music concert in the history of the world. It was now conducted in Dubai, and it was previously conducted in India as well. Now, you know what? They use the artificial intelligence to make this concert the most lovable and the most important experience of a person's life. You know what they do is they connect the bracelets that is being provided to the customers who are over there, or the music enjoyers, and each and every bracelet is connected through the QR code to a specific supercomputer. What happens is that once the music starts rising, or once the main person who is performing the concert, he says that you guys need to raise your hand. And once they start raising their hand, what happens is that a specific light starts coming from the people's hand because of that bracelet. And it is so well coordinated that it goes along with the music. So once you look at the drawn effect of that specific concert, it seems that a specific picture is being created in that concert. And this is how they make that specific concert to be most lovable and the most spendable concert in the person's life. Everyone is dying to get a concert ticket of the Coldplay, because it is not just the experience of their music. Obviously, the music quality is very good, his voice is very good, but the amount of money that the people are willing to pay is because of the experience. Everything is very well coordinated with the artificial intelligence. Everything is very well coordinated with the QR and the barcodes, and every bracelet that they are being providing to the number of customers that over there, they are synchronized in a way that lights are normally are synchronized with the music, and it goes as if a pattern is being created during that concert. So, the event management company will have to manage. For example, if the event management company is failing in managing that, so that specific picture or painting or, the experience will not be gained. And again, the people are going to go against the concept. So artificial intelligence can be held in this way as well, in order to gain and sustain the competitive advantage. Coldplay is one of the biggest example of this artificial intelligence. Navigating and mapping application. Navigating systems help people in attending the event. For example, when you enter into a cinema hall, you know what the biggest issue is to identify seat number three and row number 5. Because why? Because you have the cinema hall lights are completely shut down. So what do they do is that the tagging is normally provided with a small light, so that you can easily identify and sit without falling onto the seat or without falling on someone. So, navigating and mapping modules of small cinemas are very easy. You can do it just with the help of small light being incorporated in the tagging part. But for big events like music concerts, there should be a navigating and a mapping application. Maybe the people are provided with a specific QR code in which they can have a map of where they will be standing in the music concert, or where the specific seat for the VIP guest is being located, where the seat for the normal guest and where the seat for the mediocre guests are being given. So this is how the mapping is going to work, and the mapping application is going to work. It says navigating and system helps the people in attending the event to find the venues using their own smart devices and mapping app, and reducing the need of the local syndrome and physical venue guide at events. Now, let me tell you one thing. I experienced this. That is why I'm telling you. In Turkey, there is a palace with the name of Dolma Pasha. So when you enter into that palace, because you don't know that what is the history of this palace, and just by looking at the rooms or the big chandeliers or swords, you won't be getting an idea of what actually is the heritageal value of this specific palace. So what do they do is they provide you a device with having a specific um, cord, or having a specific hearing AirPods. And with the help of that device, it is being connected from every room to the other room through a QR code. So once you start entering into the palace, it automatically take you back to that old site. Now they are going to start in 1806. The first war was basically held over here, and the king was resident of this palace. So there you will be listening to the voice of horses and the fight going on between the two groups. And it normally, when I was entering, I was getting goosebumps because of the fact that I was actually experiencing that fact, that when I'm entering into this specific palace. And when I entered into the room of the king, there was a sword which says that he killed 110 people from their enemy, from the enemy. So this is how it works. Like, all the killing voices and, the fighting voices were all around me. And I was thinking that, okay, if I am right now in the middle of that fight, and it was all worth it to pay for the amount of money in order to visit that palace. So this is how the QR code work. This is how the artificial intelligence industry is working. The QR code provides a link to the website page for a scheduled event and allows the registration and the sale and issue of the ticket. QR code can also be used as a secure method of controlling the access to event and included as part of the ticket. Now, event management industry and key performance indicator. Again, the key performance indicator are the indicators that help you to become a successful company. That is, they are actually the critical success factors of a company. Event management business, irrespective of their size or the market segment that they target, use similar KPIs to manage their financial and non-financial performances. The most common KPIs are financial KPI. Again, the most important, the most common KPI could be the financial free income growth. What do you understand by the free income growth? The increase in the amount of fee income generated over a given period of time is analyzed by the individual client and event type. So the first thing is that once we are evaluating a particular project, once we are evaluating a particular client, we look at the fee income growth, and the fee income is totally dependent upon the individual client and the event types. So if the individual client is corporate, the fee income is going to be large. In the individual client, if the client is a private company, the fee is going to be less than the corporate side. Similarly, the event type, it is if it is a music event, the things are going to change substantially. If it's a normal wedding event, the amount of fee is going to be substantially low. Operating profit margin. Operating profit margin as a percentage of fee income generated is analyzed by the individual events and event type. So this means that we are dividing the operating profit divided by total revenue multiplied by 100. So now you are going to read it like this: for every 1 rupee of revenue, how much amount of operating profit are they earning? And we know it well that we were earning 35 to 40% of the fee charge. That is the total ticket charge. So, we can easily identify this. That was only for one stream. For other stream, there are fixed incomes as well. But I'm just giving you a guess that, okay, 35 to 40% of the income of the total fee charge is being earned by the event management company. Now, non-financial KPIs, which means tender success rate. Let's suppose during the year, we have sent 10 tenders, and out of 10, we were able to attain 5 successful tenders. 50%. The number of successful tenders as a portion of the total number of tenders in invitation in a given period analyzed by the client. Client satisfaction. This can be measured in a different way, that is client rating. Now, there may be a question that using the non-financial indicator of client satisfaction, identify how these can be improved in a report format to the CEO of the company. You are an external consultant or an internal consultant. So you need to have these 3 headings. Just let me know, how can you improve the client retention rate, client referral rate, and client feedback? How can you improve this? How can you use this in order to increase the satisfaction? I'm giving you 2 minutes. Start thinking of the fact that how can you improve this? Okay. Let's move forward. Okay, so it says that client satisfaction, this can be measured by the number, by different number of ways. That is client retention rate. Now, how this is going to create the satisfaction? Obviously, client retention rate will be dependent upon the quality of services that you're given. And if this client retention rate is increasing satisfactorily for the company, this is going to create that the client are satisfied. Client referral may be in the form of word of mouth and maybe in the form of any other way in which the client are being referred by the previous or someone who have already taken the services from us and the client. Client satisfactions. No. It is actually about the client satisfaction, not about how to create businesses or how to increase the number of services. It's just the client satisfaction. And client feedback will totally be dependent upon some questionnaires that are being filled by the client, or some giveaways on filling the questionnaires may be incorporated in your client satisfaction services. Environmental sustainability. Measurements used indicate that the impact of an event on the natural environment, for example, percentage waste recycling. You know it well. We have something given on the top that was relating to the impact of the environmental issues. And over here, the environmental sustainability is one of the key measures of making a company successful. So, percentage waste recycle, water consumption, energy efficiency. So you can offer You can offer energy consumption based on solar system and percentage waste recycle. Again, the number of waste that you are recycling, or no to paper glasses. And water consumption is reduced to a minimal level. Industry body. Business operating in Harlan event management sector are supported by the industry body. Okay, so this is a governing body that look after the event management companies that are operating in Harlan. It's a government body that look after the event management companies that are operating in Harlan. Okay, so it says the Institute of Event Organizations, which represent event management businesses serving the corporate, public, and private sector client. The Institute of Event Organization aims to improve the quality, health services, and environmental practices. So, they are constantly telling us the three areas that can make a company successful. Now, these three areas are equally important. These three areas are going to be very, very important in order to identify how the event or how the company is going to work. Then, all of its members by setting common technical standards. So they are going to set some common technical standards in regard with the quality standards, in regard with health and safety standard, and in regard with the environmental practices. Yes, by members it means the companies that are part of us. Rodman event. So the information that is given till here is the information that relates to the industry. Okay. Now we are talking, or we are coming into the information that relates to our company. It says Rodney Event is one of the smaller event management company. Okay. So we are smaller in size. Why is he saying that we are smaller? So that they can create a question of amalgamation, merger, because large industries do not amalgamate. Large industries operate independently. They may be able to create a question of joint venture. They may ask you that how the joint venture between two companies, that is my company and company X, will help to formulate good strategies for evaluate the joint venture business that we are trying to assess the joint ventures, let's suppose proposal being given to us. Because of the fact that we are a smaller company, there are possibility, and I'm 110% sure, I'm 110% sure there are possibility that he will be asking you a question of evaluating a proposal that is shown in the exhibit of the paper, which states that the exhibit relates to a joint venture between the Rodnim and Sodnim company, maybe any other name. The Rodnim and Sodnim company, in which the Rodnim company is an event management company and the Sodnim company is the security company. The Rodnim company is the event management company and the Sodnim company is the food business. The Rodnim company is an event management company and the Sodnim company is the cooling service provider business, or any other business that can be incorporated or complemented with the Rodnim event management services. So the business is based in the Harlan. Rodnim specializes in managing the event for the corporate and the private client. Okay. So we specializes in corporate and private client. So our specialty is not in the public sector. This may means two different things. We are not totally operating in public sector client, or we do not have big public sector clients. Rodnim operate as a partnership. The partnership was established 6 years ago by two friends, Amanda Hope and Sefi Dubious. Okay, Dubois, who had previously worked together as event manager for one of the Harlan's largest event management companies. So they have worked for largest event management company, and now they have created their own company. Amanda and Sefi own their business equally. Okay, so it's very good that they own 50% and 50% of the business. Is it clear to everyone? Are you getting what I'm trying to explain? Rodnim does not have any formal or informal cooperation or collaboration arrangement in place with other business. You know what? They want you to analyze the first cooperation or collaborative business in the exhibits. They want you to evaluate the first collaborative and cooperative business in the business. As the partner wish to preserve the Rodnim's independence, but now they may want to increase their business prospect and they want to have a collaborative or a joint venture or a franchising agreement or any other sort of agreement within the business. But once you are evaluating, please make a point that if you go for the collaborative or cooperation event arrangement, you are going to compromise on this fact. This should be your evaluating point of being a disadvantage. You have to compromise on the independence. Number one. Number two, you have to provide them information that was once considered to be secretive because now they're your business partner or now they're your joint venture partner or strategic alliance partner. Organization structure. A and S are responsible for strategic direction. And have ultimate management responsibility and control over the business. A oversees the entire events management program, and S is in charge of marketing and customer services. How many of you have seen the movie, Bollywood movie of Band Baja Barat? Don't you see the same partnership arrangement over here, right? Rodnim has 34 full-time employees operating from a single office in Harlem, capital city. So we have 34 employees. Good. We will talk about the safety of these employees. We have single head office in the capital city of Harlem. Rodnim employ 3 managers who directly report to both the managing partner. So they are going to report to. So we have 3 managers, and they report to the. They report to A, that is the managing partner, and S. Then it says these 3 managers form the management team with A and S. The organization structure detailing the whole Rodnim management team is illustrated below. A, Hope, managing partner, event manage program. A, Hope, that is the AH, managing partner, event program management, and SB, managing partner, marketing and customer services. So this is the role that this person is doing, and this is the role that the SD is performing. Now we have 3 managers, and under these 3 managers, we have 34 employees. Oh, so cumulatively, we have 34 employees. So we have 31 employees working under these 3 managers. MH, manager, head of event planning. DN, manager, head of event delivery. And JA, manager of head of business support. I don't know why I'm getting an intimation that there can be 2 very easily guessable questions. Number 1, there may be a project management question given in your examination, and number 2, there may be a question that relates to the joint ventureship or the strategic alliances. Right? So there can be questions relating to the phases of the project, and there can be questions relating to the project initiation document, and there can be a question that relates to the joint ventureship or strategic alliances. MH has worked in the event management industry for over 20 years. So he is the highest experience holder, employee, or manager of this company. Then she joined Rodnim 3 years ago. DN, 22 years old. So he's a young person and a recent graduate in the event management. JA, a qualified accountant. Okay, so JA is a qualified accountant and he is the head of business support. Isn't it contradictory? Right? Isn't it contradictory? No, sir. We need to get further information of what business support is he providing. Is he providing the financial business support, or is he providing the business support in terms of the operational matters? So a qualified accountant who has been with the Rodnim from the beginning. A summary of the areas of responsibility assigned to each member of the Rodnim management team is detailed given below. Okay. So for the directors, the first director, and the second director. He's going to have a business planning approach. He will be looking at the budgetary controls, and he'll be looking at the corporate tenders. So I guess he's going to plan out the business that is relating to the expansion operations. He's going to have the budgetary controls as to how the cost should be managed, and he will be creating the tenders for the client. Secondly, the second director is going to look after the marketing activities. He's going to look after the website management. He's going to look after the client relationship. That is the communication between the client and the event management company. Good. So till here, we are being given with the information of the directors. Now, let's see how managers work. It says MH, event scheduling and planning. So he's going to schedule out the event as to how the event will be conducted, where the event will be conducted, and how well planned the event is going to be. Venue sourcing. So he is the resourceful individual who's going to identify the resources relating to the venue, resource procurement, and supplier contracts. He'll look after the supplier contract. He'll look after the resources that are available. He'll look after the venue that we are working with. Now, DN, he is the event coordinator. He's going to coordinate the entire event. Event delivery, project management, event risk management. Now, JA, he is the general administration. He is the financial controller in the portal. So this is what he is ought to do. IT support and development, this is something which is contradictory. And data analytics, again, if it relates to financial data, then he is the right person. But if it relates to non-financial data, then he is not the right person. And HR management, you know, it's a partnership business. So an accountant can also be an HR management, an accountant can also be a marketer. We do not give much concerns for this. But what if he's going to shift the business prospects from the partnership into the limited liability company? Now that is going to have a massive impact on the management roles. Rotnam employ temporary staff to support the event and when needed, as and when needed. So, you know, it is, we also have the temporary staff cover option available. And obviously, event management company normally hire the temporary staff. This is the norm of every event management company. Operations. The diagram below illustrates the 6 stages in the process of tendering. For the corporate event, this process is used to plan out, control, and deliver the event to the client. These include arranging for temporary staff to work at the event in areas such as security, hospitality, technical support as needed. This process has been progressively developed and refined so that Rodnim is able to deliver constantly high quality event to all the client. See, I don't know why I'm getting an intimation that project management topic is very important. Project management topic should be read by you guys. You need to read the handout of the project management once again. Project management is going to do wonders over here. Project initiation document, project management, project giveaways, documents related to the project, cost benefit analysis, and many other parts may be tested in this exam. So the first stage of the project starts with event initiation. The first stage of the project starts with event initiation. Right? Manur, I will share the handout with you. Receive invitations to tender, document, consult with the client, agree event specification, determine the success criteria. So first, we are going to learn about the client. What client expectation is, what is the success criteria for the client, what tender or documents are required by the client, how are we going to initiate the project? Number one. Number two, we are going to outline the plan. Draft the project initiation document. He may be asking you a question that from the stages given in the pre-scene, draft an in-project initiation document. I don't know why, because he have not yet asked this question since the start of the SBL examination. He may not be asking you to draft the entire project initiation document. However, what he's going to do is he's going to provide you the project initiation document already being drafted by an inexperienced accountant. And he'll ask you to change the project initiation document in accordance with what should have been written. So please make sure that you read the project initiation document again and again and again and again. You should remember the heading of the project initiation document and what each specific heading actually mean. Project initiation document is totally important in this paper. See, draft a project initiation. He may ask you to write a report in which the project initiation document already being drafted by the company's junior accountant have some mistakes. So you need to redraft it, number one, or don't redraft, just identify the mistake and what should have been written. Please make sure that you read it thoroughly, because once when the project initiation document was tested in the same way by the SBL examiner, majority of students made a mistake of redrafting the project initiation document. However, in the examiner comment, the examiner said that 30% of the student redrafted the project initiation document. This means that they are not reading the requirement carefully. I have stated it many times. I have stated it very clearly that you do not need to redraft the project initiation document. Just write down the heading of who should be the project sponsor, who should be the project team, who should be the project manager, what should be the deliverable dates, what could be the deliverable documents, and this is how you're going to do it. Please be very vigilant when you are reading the question requirement. The examiner comment specifically stated that. I will show you that examiner comment. He said that many students redrafted the PID and wasted their time. However, it also gave a negative mark to those students. So you are doing something good and he's giving you a negative mark. So please make sure that you don't do this blunder in your paper. Outline the budget, appoint event manager. So project initiation document, he's appointing an event manager, outlining the budget, submit the tender, sign the contract if the tender is successful. Then detail planning, schedule event program, logistics, which means the procurement side, and detail budgeting, how much cost, how much revenue. Maybe the event may take 3 to 4 days. For example, normally when the wedding events are being conducted at a random space or a random place, we make stages, we make lighting arrangement, we make music arrangement, we make the dance stages as well. So it takes 2 to 3 days. So normally the event management company asks for advance fee and then some fee at the end of the event and some fee after 2 to 3 days when the customer is satisfied. Then event organization, set up the event team, book the venue, arrange the supplier contract and issue tickets. Event delivery, venue access control, deliver the event program, manage the external suppliers. External supplier? Yes, these are total 6 or 7 phases. No, how many phases? 7 stages. Then post event, conduct a post food, security, music system, crane for the stage, any other external supplier. Conduct post completion review, evaluate the success criteria. Again, the success criteria are 3 success criteria. The critical success criteria are 3 success criteria. These success criteria can be divided into financial and non-financial KPIs. Financial KPIs are based on the revenue per client. The non-financial KPIs are many others. See, we are just trying to open our minds in terms of the piece. I don't know what he's going to ask, but I can bet that the possibilities of asking these questions are the utmost, right? Conduct a post-completion review, evaluate the success criteria, and report to the client. Now, notes. The process does not continue to this stage if the tender is not, obviously, if the tender is not successful, the process is going to end on the outlining planning phase, right? And the contract is not awarded to Rodney. For private client, the same process is followed, although there is no need for tender. Rodney would simply meet the client, discuss the requirement. However, as with tendering, if they are not engaged with the client, Rodney will not progress beyond the outline planning stage. So they have given us how it works. Information system. See, I'm expecting an IT question. I'm expecting a question that relates to barcode, artificial intelligence, machine learning, disturbed ledger. We have gone through this handout very well. We have already gone through this handout in our regular classes. Please make sure that you once read that handout as well before going into your exam. Just skim through that handout. It says broadening the information technology, the disturbed ledger, the big data handout. That's specific. Yes, big data. So it says Rodnim utilizes a range of information system in support of its business activities, including event planning system. So there must be an IT system that look after the event planning. 2 to 3 days or 4 days before, I went into a wedding ceremony in which I saw that the individuals who were managing the event, they were having a walkie-talkie. And what they were doing is that whenever the food or specific item was emptied or it was not present, what they used to do, they used to give instruction to the backend staff to bring that specific item, and it was so smoothly done that no one was shouting that as if the specific item is not over here, or please bring an ice cream, I want to eat an ice cream. Everything was so smoothly done because of the use of specific basic walkie-talkie system just to communicate between the two people. I have seen people running from this place to another place. Okay, just bring this item, it's emptied. Okay, they were all shouting. And for the other events, you must have seen a hilarious type of ongoing activity. But for this event, I was so satisfied that okay, everything is going so smoothly, and I like the concept of having a walkie-talkie in the hand of there were bifurcation between the women and the male side. So it was so easily identified that what item is not present in the women's side and what item are not present in the male side. So this is how the event planning system should work. It says that this system is used to support the planning and organizing of all the events at Rodnim. The system includes a range of project management tools which are designed to enable each event to be broken down into separate activities. So this system basically helps the event to be broken down. For example, if there is a music concert event, so the first activity is going to be setting the stage. I'm just creating an example. Setting the stage. The second activity could be maybe bringing, incorporating the sound quality. Then looking after the security. So every single stage is divided in accordance with the event planning system. So event planning system will help us in dividing the event into different stages and to just looking after those stages very smoothly. It says broken down into separate activities so that the project stands the best chance of being effectively scheduled to deliver the event on time and within the agreed budget. Then event ticketing system. Now you know it very well that event ticketing system have a flaw. That is, the event ticketing system have a flaw of the fake tickets or tickets being sold at the black market. So it says that the event ticketing system includes a bespoke mobile. Now, what's a bespoke system? A system that is specifically being made for. Is it a bespoke system or a tailor-made system? A bespoke system is a system that is off-the-shelf system. Anyone can buy that system and incorporate it. क्या बताएं? What's a bespoke system? Is it a general system or a off-the-shelf system? Is it a tailor-made system? We have already read this. Bespoke system means a system that is specifically designed for a company. I have given you an example in the banking sector. A bespoke system is a system that is a tailor-made system designed for specific purposes. It is designed for a specific company. It is designed for the event management company. So it says the event ticketing system include a bespoke mobile app which allows the people attending a Rodnim managed event to register and pay for its using their smartphone. The system generates ticket and each registered attendee and allocates seating at the venue if this is required. The ticket can be displayed as a QR code using the Rodnim mobile app to allow the attendees to gain entry in the event. So it's very simple. They have synchronized the ticketing system with the help of a bespoke system. And that ticketing system will have a smooth transition of a person into the event. I have told you in my regular classes as well that even the Dubai airport system is also a bespoke system where you just have to scan your passport and you go smoothly into the Dubai's premises. So this is what a bespoke system is. Now, marketing system. The marketing system enables the Rotterdam to effectively promote the event it is managing. The marketing system is integrated with the Rotterdam website and range of social media. Now, they may give you an exhibit relating to the marketing system, or they may give you an exhibit relating to the event ticketing system, or they may give you an exhibit relating to the event planning system, and they may ask you to further evaluate this specific system or how to make this system a better one as compared to the previous version of the system. Then management information system, that is MIS system. The management information system collect data. So the first thing that the management information system is going to do, it is going to collect the data into the event planning, event process, and post event report. So why I'm getting an intimation of why PID should be tested, because they say that management information system is going to plan out the event. He is going to event progress, identify the progress of that event, and he will make some post event report. Now, this post event report will include a cost benefit analysis, a post project implementation review, a post implementation review, a product implementation. All these documents will be provided by the system. These are collated from the Rotterdam staff and client and attendees feedback. The system includes a range of wide visualization tool which supports the management decision making. Rotterdam uses an off-site data storage facility. Off-site data storage means the offline data storage facility operated by a specialist company. Okay, so Rotterdam is using a specialist company for which it has outsourced the operations, which allows it to store and retrieve all the business data remotely and securely over the internet. Rotterdam website provides information on forthcoming public events, which it is managing, and allows attendees to book online and provide details on how to contact the Rotterdam to help with the queries or the booking. Now, if there are forthcoming events, then Rotterdam, with the help of client, with the communication of client, may also offer some exclusive discounts or some packages of buying event in a group, or buying 2 to 3 event altogether. So Rotterdam can also do like this and post comments about their experiences. So it's like a social media website where you can see the event, you can buy the event ticket, and then after the event you can also comment of if you like the event or not, about the management service. The website also contains information about the Rotterdam and its business philosophies. Extract from the Rotterdam website. The Rotterdam mission is to provide all our clients with the top quality services, ensuring that their need and expectations are fully met. We will make every event a memorable one experience for both the client and everyone at the event. Rotterdam's strategic aims are to explore and exploit new business opportunities which may arise. So Rotterdam's major aim is to explore the opportunities. Number one, embrace and utilize innovative technologies to enhance the operational efficiency. So there may be questions relating to how innovation can be incorporated into the company. There may be questions relating to how to enhance the operational efficiency of the company. Then encourage an open, respectful, and ethical business culture. By open, I mean everyone is allowed to comment on our services. We will not be deleting any sort of comments. Number two, respectful. Whoever is working with us, either he's a small employee or he's the managing director, we will provide them same amount of respect that they deserve. And ethical business cultures. Operate in an environmentally sustainable manner. Rotterdam risk register. So let's look at the risk register. We have been provided with the risk register as well. It says that the Rotterdam risk registers cover the main categories of risk which the business currently faces. The partners determine the nature and extent of the risk. So the nature and extent of the risk is being determined by the partner. Nature, extent, sir. Nature, extent, sir. Tara model. Impact probability, sir. Tara model. The transfer, avoid, accept, reduce. Sir, don't you think that there can be a Tara model being applied if I'm giving with further information of the risk? when setting up the risk appetite, how much amount of risk will be acceptable, which limits the acceptability of the risk. The individual risks are monitored by the management team, adjusted and adapted as necessary. Appropriate control activities are devised and undertaken to mitigate both the likelihood and potential harmful effects. Sir, likelihood and probability. Likelihood and probability. Sir, Tara model. Now, I have identified three questions till now. One is the Tara model. The other one is the project initiation document. And the third one is joint venture and merger and acquisition. For each event, Rodnam also undertake. Now, this is just an educated guess. Obviously, the real question may differ, or they may not even ask you a single question that I'm stating. So, Rodnam also undertake the individual risk assessment. So, let's just quickly get into the individual risk assessment, risk category. Sir, we have seen these headings in our handout. Sir, I have seen the strategic risk heading in my handout. Sir, I have seen the financial risk heading in my handout. I've seen the economic risk, compliance risk, operational risk. So let's see. The Harland event management industry is highly competitive and attracts new entrants. The resultant increase in available providers in the market can result in loss of market share. So highly competitive industry is resulting in more competition, and more competition means loss of market share by the rollant. This may require more competitive pricing to be adopted, which put pressure on the margins. So what is the amount that we were charging for the ticket sales? 35 to. This means that if we will look at the margins, this is just the amount of revenue that we are getting. We look at the margins. Now, if the margins are 10 to 15%, this is pressurizing the event management company to reduce that. So this means that they are going for the penetrative pricing strategy. Am I clear? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So they will have to adopt a penetrative pricing strategy. Financial risk. The costs associated with running some individual events may exceed the agreed budget, resulting in loss-making event. So the budget was $1 million and the actual amount went to $1.1 million. So there may be loss, there may be an increment of loss for the company. Then corporate clients are offered commercial credit terms, exposing Rodham to the risk of bad debt. Sir, this is the deferred payment that you were talking about. We are offering them commercial credit terms. Now the commercial credit terms will give rise to the continuum services as well. You know, if I'm providing them the deferred payment or the commercial credit term services, so this will help them in, formulating a strategy in which the commercial credit terms are going to do a long-term loyalty from the client. But on the other hand, we are having a bad debt risk as well, right? So it says which could strain the cash management of the company. So the company may have some cash management issues in this regard. Economic risk. Again, Harland's economic performance will directly impact the demand for both the corporate and the private client. Interest rate rise will increase the debt repayment and reduce the liquidity of the company. Compliances and regulatory risk. Unforeseen changes to regulation and legislation in the areas such as health and safety and information management could significantly impact on event activities. Then operational risk, IT system failure. Now this is one of the biggest risks. And you know what? The ticketing system failure could result in going concern risk as well. The ticketing system could have a far-reaching effect. So if the ticketing system comes to a fail, this means that the entire event is going to be a failure. So it says, IT system failure affect all the areas of the business activity and negatively impact every event delivery. Inability to procure all of the necessary resources when required for individual event, which would put the success of the event at risk. So let's look at the performance targets. Very, very important. Rodnam has built its business around the corporate and private clients. So we don't have the public sector client. What would happen if we try to incorporate the public sector client? What would happen in regard with the image of the company? Yes, any one of them.
प्रिज्यूम की जाएगी ये बड़ी कंपनी हो गई है क्योंकि ये स्मॉलर बिजनेस ऑपरेट कर रहा है पर किसी वक्त पब्लिक सेक्टर में बड़ा क्लाइंट आएगा तो एक प्रिजम्पशन होगी कि बड़ी
Okay. So this may be presumed that the Rodnim have opened their doors for entering into the larger clients. Good. But on the other hand, we are totally considered to be a commercial oriented company that provides services only to the private and the corporate clients. Because, if I join hand together or if I try identifying the customers that relate to the public sector clients, this means that I might offer them some lucrative discounts or I might offer them some lower pricing because they are public sector companies. Public sector means the government oriented company. On one hand, the government is going to give us a market, but on the other hand, the other clients, that is the corporate and the private client, they may perceive us to be a company who's moving towards the philanthropist effect and remove and let's suppose foregoing the commercial profitable effects. So this is also going to be created within the market domains. It says that each corporate event generates significantly more fee income and profit than that which comes from the private client. So we have the biggest side of the client is the corporate client, and the smaller side of the revenue is from the private client. Rodnim 20x0x3 performance includes the following. So you can see the fee income has increased to 780 million from 20x1 to 20x3. First, we were at 745 million, and now we have reached to a target to a actual fee of 780 million. So we have substantially increased the fee. However, the operating profits are decreasing. So what could have been the impact? So the cost might be decreasing, or there may be lower margins. And you know what? The possibility of lower margins are greater than the cost because they have given us an intimation in the previous part. Haven't they given us an intimation of fierce competition being entered into the market? So we will have to go for penetrative pricing. And by penetrative pricing, I mean that my operating profit margin is going to decrease because I'll be offering the services at a lower price as compared to my competitors. Okay, so corporate tenders. Tenders invitation sent is the 148, tenders submission is 128, and tenders success is 58. So tenders invitation, tender submission. So can you please let me know how much amount of tender success rate to tender submission and tender invitation? So just leave the tender invitation. Just calculate it with the perspective of tender submission and tender success. 58 divided by 128 is how much percent? 45%. So 45% is my tender success ratio. It's a very good ratio. 86% of all the tender invitation received during the 2020x3 were completed and submitted to the client and by Rodnim, and 45% of them were successful. This was marginal improvement in the tendering performance compared to 20x2. Tender success is recognized as a major driver for the corporate business at Rodnim. See, the tender success rate is increasing, but the operating margin is decreasing because if you look at the operating profit, it is around 37.7 maybe million in 20x2. But if you look at the operating profit in 20x3, it's around 36.5. So there is a gap between the operating profit of 20x2 and 20x3. So the operating profit margin has decreased. However, it says that there is a marginal improvement. Marginal means some additional improvement in the tender success ratio, which is of 45%. So the tender success ratio is improving, which means that the other impact could be the fee reduction or the cost increment. Now, they may give you an extract of the financial statement of the company, and then you're going to use that financial statement in order to evaluate if they should continue offering the services at the same price or not. Okay, then client satisfaction rate. This is also a very important key success ratio. The net promoter score 9.1 in 20x1 and 7.5 in 20x3. Now, what do you understand by the net promoter score? Anyone? For example, if I am selling to 100 people, out of those 100 people, 91 people referred to any other person to buy my services. For example, let's suppose we have a class of 100 people, and 91 out of 100 people went out and they said that you should go for SBL with SPH in 20x1. However, in 20x3, only 75% of the client are referring back, or they are providing a word of mouth for the company. So this means that your satisfaction score is not good in comparison to the base year. Okay. The net promoter score, that is a measure of the client loyalty and satisfaction delivered from the client feedback on how likely they are going to recommend the Rodnim event to other on the scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is the best score possible. I'm just converted it into percentage. It's better to convert it into percentage. So 91% in the first year, and in the third year, only 75% people are going to give me a referral perspectives. The NPS is useful for benchmarking the client satisfaction, and as it provides an insight of how the Rodnim is perceived and can be indicated of likely future business areas. Yes. So let me know. This is the part. This is the end of the part. Let me know. How do you find this pre-scene to be? Is it easy? Is it difficult? Is it easily predictable? Or you find the some technical jargons? Is the event management industry being understood by you? I guess it's manageable. Yes. And the most important part is that they have given us information very openly, and they have given us information that we are not, let's suppose if we are studying this information, we can easily understand this. There are no technical jargons being used by the examiner himself. Now, my second task is going to be to provide you a comparative analysis of the entire syllabus to be connected with this piece. I will give you a handout of 20 to 25 pages in which we will be discussing the entire syllabus and we'll be connecting it with the piece. We'll be connecting it to the piece, right? Again, I have already told you that there can be 3 different possibilities that, up to my knowledge or up to my education, I can identify by reading this pre-scene. Maybe the real exam may be totally different, or the real exam may look like the educated guess that I've used. We are going to further have more analysis on this pre-scene, but for the time being, it's requested that please go back home, read this pre-scene once again, and please don't just concentrate on the pre-scene. Now, many students, what mistake they do is, sir, pre-scene. We are totally looking after the pre-scene only. It's not just the pre-scene. See, this is not the answer of your question. It is not going to just give you an insight of passing this exam. The practice that you have started few days before is going to make you clear this exam. So please focus on the practice. Just don't focus on, sir, I have been reading pre-scene since last 5 days, and the only thing that I'm doing is reading the piece. This is not going to give you. Are the mock based on the pre-scene? Yes, we are going to make some mock on the pre-scene as well, but I'll try to make some mock on the pre-scene. But for the time being, my suggestion is go back home, read it once, and just keep it on the side of your bed. No more drilling into it. No more getting into the pre-scene. I will tell you when and where are you going to read the pre-scene once again. For the time being, just go back home and read it for once so that you have some information in your mind. And after that, start practicing the other past paper questions as much as you can. We are keeping the class till here today. I hope so. This was a fruitful class and a very important class as well. I hope to meet you all afterwards.